Hey, Niners faithful, what a wild stretch this has been for the San Francisco 49ers. The vibe around the facility this week felt intense, but cautiously optimistic, the kind of energy that comes when a team knows it's close to turning a corner, but still has a few things to figure out. I was out there watching practice, and yes, Brock Purdy was back on the field. He had his helmet on, he was throwing, he was moving around, but you could tell he's still not 100%. He's listed as a limited participant, and he's still dealing with that toe injury that's been nagging him for weeks. And even though it's encouraging to see him out there, the rotation tells the story. Adrian Martinez and Mac Jones were getting the heavier reps, with Mac running with the first team. Now, according to Kyle Shanahan's latest comments on his weekly show, it's looking more and more likely that Mac Jones will be the starter on Sunday night against the Atlanta Falcons. It's not official yet, but that's the direction it's heading. And honestly, that might be the best move right now. As much as everyone wants to see Purdy back on the field, rushing him could do more harm than good. That toe injury isn't something you could just push through, especially for a quarterback who relies so much on lower body mechanics to get that zip and accuracy on his throws. When I saw him tossing the ball at practice, the passes just didn't have that usual pop. The spiral was fine, but the velocity wasn't there, and the ball floated a little more than usual. That's a sign he can't quite plant or drive off that foot the way he needs to. We've already seen what happens when you come back from an injury like that too early. Remember that Jaguars game a few weeks ago? Before that one, there was the same kind of uncertainty. Would Purdy start or would they roll with Jones? And when Purdy did get the nod, it was clear he wasn't right. His throws were high. He was missing his timing, and the Niners turned the ball over 4 times that day. A couple of those were pure overthrows that could have been avoided if his footwork was solid. The result was predictable. Interceptions, stalled drives, lost momentum. Add in 6 drop passes and an 87-yard punt return touchdown allowed, and it was just a nightmare all around. The main takeaway from that game was simple. Purdy didn't look comfortable, and he wasn't moving with confidence. You could tell he was hesitant to roll out or scramble, which took away one of his biggest strengths, making plays outside the structure. That's part of what makes him special, and without it, he just looked like a shell of himself. Turf toe injuries are nasty because even when they start to feel better, they're incredibly easy to aggravate again. And that's exactly what happened. He pushed it, re-injured it, and has been sidelined since. So as tempting as it might be to get him back out there, giving him another week or even 2 could make all the difference. Mac Jones might not have Purdy's mobility or creativity, but he's shown he can stand tall in the pocket and deliver with accuracy when protected. The problem, of course, is that word protected. The offensive line has been a sore spot for the 49ers for a while now, and this season has been no different. Too many pressures, too many missed assignments, and it's forced quarterbacks to get the ball out quicker than they'd like. If they can't handle Atlanta's front this week, it could get ugly fast because the Falcons have quietly built one of the more aggressive defenses in the league. Atlanta plays man coverage more than anyone in the NFL. They're not afraid to go one-on-one and challenge receivers off the line. And when third down rolls around, they bring the heat. They blitz at one of the highest rates in football. They disguise coverages. They rotate shells. They throw a lot of looks at quarterbacks. And if the Niners receivers can't win their matchups, Mac Jones is going to have a long night. Tampa Bay made life miserable for him last week, pressuring him over 20 times, sacking him 6 times, and forcing him to rush throws. That can't happen again. What makes this matchup even trickier is that the Falcons aren't just blitz-happy on defense. They've also found a rhythm on offense. Their offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson, moved from the booth down to the field recently. And since then, that unit has come alive. Michael Penix Jr., their rookie quarterback, has been impressive. He can sling it, especially when he's in rhythm. Bijan Robinson looks like one of the most dynamic playmakers in the entire league. He's the kind of player who can break open a game at any moment, either running or catching out of the backfield. Drake London is a matchup nightmare with his size and hands. Kyle Pitts is finally showing flashes of what made him such a hype prospect, and even Tyler Algier gives them another strong option to grind out yards. The 49ers' defense, on the other hand, is limping into this game. No Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner. two of the most important players on that unit. And without them, the defense just hasn't looked the same. The run defense has been leaky, the pressure has been inconsistent, and that's a dangerous combination against a balanced offense like Atlanta's. This could easily turn into a high-scoring, back-and-forth kind of game, one where the Niners are forced to throw just to keep up. But again, that brings us back to the offensive line. If they can't protect, none of that matters. The Falcons have completely reinvented their pass rush this year. Last season, they were dead last in sacks and sack rate. They couldn't touch the quarterback if their lives depended on it. But this year, after drafting Jalen Walker and James Pierce and signing Leonard Floyd, they've turned into a top-half defense in sack production. The crazy part? It's not just one guy doing the damage. They're getting sacked from everywhere: defensive ends, tackles, linebackers, corners, even safeties. It's an all-out team effort. That's what makes them so hard to prepare for. You can't just double one guy and solve the problem. The pressure can come from any angle. And look, when the schedule first dropped, everyone probably circled this game as one of those where the Niners should handle business at home. But the reality now is totally different. Atlanta's improved massively. The Niners are banged up, and their confidence has taken a hit after those tough recent losses. Without their key defensive leaders, without Purdy at full strength, and with the O-line struggling, this game has all the makings of a real test. But there is some good news. George Kittle is coming back. He practiced this week, and the team has designated him to return from injured reserve. He spoke to the media and said he fully expects to play on Sunday night. That's a huge boost. Even with the torn hamstring earlier in the season, the fact that he's returning this soon says a lot about his work ethic and how well he takes care of his body. Kittle brings so much more than just numbers on a stat sheet. His presence alone changes the offense. He's an elite blocker, a safety valve in the passing game, and a leader that commands respect. His return should help both the run and pass games. Defenses can't load the box as much when he's on the field because they have to respect his ability to slip out and make a big play. And maybe, just maybe, his presence helps calm things down for Mac Jones. With Kittle back, Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk on the outside, and Christian McCaffrey doing his thing, there's still more than enough firepower for this offense to get rolling again. What they'll need, though, is composure. The Falcons' defense feeds off chaos. They blitz, they swarm, they try to make quarterbacks panic. If the Niners can stay patient, get the ball out quickly, and establish some rhythm early, they'll have a chance to dictate the tempo instead of reacting to it. And if the defense can at least slow down Atlanta's playmakers, this could turn into one of those gritty, grinded-out Niners-style games we've seen before. But make no mistake, this isn't going to be a walk in the park. Atlanta's confidence is sky-high after their statement win against Buffalo, and they're playing with nothing to lose. The 49ers, meanwhile, are in survival mode. They need to stabilize, get healthy, and find that balance again. Because if Purdy's toe doesn't heal right and the protection issues keep showing up, this could spiral fast. That's why this week feels so critical, not just for the standings, but for the team's identity heading into the rest of the season. As practice wrapped up this week, there was a quiet but determined focus in the air. You could feel it among the players and coaches, the understanding that this moment could define the trajectory of their season. The Niners aren't panicking, but there's definitely urgency. They know how fast things can change in this league. One week you're on top of the NFC, and the next you're battling just to stay in the playoff conversation. That's why every decision right now, especially a quarterback, carries so much weight. The conversation about Brock Purdy's health has dominated everything, but what's maybe even more interesting is the growing confidence around Mac Jones. Shanahan has spent the week installing a game plan that plays to his strengths: quicker throws, cleaner reads, and a rhythm-based approach that minimizes exposure to Atlanta's blitz. Jones isn't the kind of quarterback who will improvise or make magic out of broken plays, but if you give him structure, he can operate effectively. The problem, of course, is that this offense hasn't had much rhythm since early in the year. Timing has been off, protections have broken down, and the play calling has at times felt too predictable. This is the game where that has to change. George Kittle's return might be the key to unlocking it. Having him back allows the offense to disguise looks and personnel packages better. Kittle can stay in a block and give Jones more time, or he can slip out into routes and exploit mismatches against linebackers. His chemistry with the quarterbacks is underrated too. He's that steady presence who knows how to find space when plays break down. The hope is that his presence also sparks the run game, which has been inconsistent since his injury. When he's out there sealing edges and setting blocks, Christian McCaffrey tends to find more daylight. The Niners desperately need that balance again because without it, they've become one-dimensional and defenses have keyed in on that. On the defensive side, it's been a different kind of struggle. Without Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, there's an obvious leadership void. You can't just replace those guys. They set the tone for the entire unit. And when they're gone, you see the ripple effects. The pass rush loses its bite, the linebackers look less aggressive, and the secondary ends up getting exposed. Robert Saleh said earlier this week that Malik Mustafa and Jair Brown will start at the safety spots, and that combination brings some fresh energy. Mustafa has the athleticism and the speed to close quickly, and Brown has that physicality near the box. But both are still learning the nuances of the position in this scheme, and that inexperience can lead to communication breakdowns. The secondary has been a rotating door all season. Jason Pinnock, who started strong early in the year, has fallen out of favor as the team explores trade options. It wouldn't be shocking to see him moved, maybe even before the deadline. There's been talk about a potential deal with Buffalo, which would make sense for both sides considering the Bills' struggles in the secondary. If Pinnock goes, it'll open more opportunities for Brown and Mustafa to solidify themselves as long-term pieces. The staff loves their physical traits, and now it's about consistency. The defense has allowed too many explosive plays lately, and that's something Saleh and defensive coordinator Steve Wilks have zero tolerance for. The loss to Tampa Bay was a reminder of just how thin this defense is without its stars. They gave up chunk plays, struggled to generate pressure, and looked vulnerable against both the run and the pass. That's where the conversation about adding a pass rusher comes in. Everyone's been speculating on names: Trey Hendrickson, Bradley Chubb, Rashawn Gary, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Arden Key, some big-time players who could completely change the dynamic up front. The dream scenario, of course, will be landing Hendrickson from Cincinnati. He's tough, relentless, and plays with the kind of edge this team has been missing. But the Bengals are still trying to stay alive in the AFC, and unless they go on a serious losing streak, it's hard to imagine them letting him go mid-season. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Breaking news is shaking the NFL world. Christian McCaffrey, the star running back of the San Francisco 49ers, is reportedly off the team in what insiders are calling a surprising negotiation. While official confirmation has yet to come from the 49ers front office, whispers across league circles suggest that McCaffrey's future in San Francisco is now uncertain, sending shockwaves through fans and analysts alike. Sources close to the situation claim that the discussions surrounding McCaffrey's departure were intense, involving multiple teams reportedly lining up with offers that could potentially change the course of the 49ers season. Speculation is rampant that the move is financially motivated, with McCaffrey seeking terms that could reflect his status as one of the league's most dynamic playmakers. Others argue it might be a strategic decision by the team, trying to balance cap space while investing in other areas of the roster. The timing of the rumor couldn't be more dramatic. McCaffrey has been pivotal in the 49ers offense, known for his versatility and ability to shift games in a single play. If the reports hold true, the team will face a major hole in the backfield and a challenge to maintain the momentum they have built over recent seasons. Fans on social media are already divided between disbelief and outrage, with many questioning the management's decision-making process. Meanwhile, NFL pundits are starting to speculate about potential landing spots for McCaffrey. Teams with a struggling ground game or those looking to make a playoff push could be in serious contention. Rumors have hinted at several franchises preparing trade packages, with some insiders suggesting that the price for McCaffrey could be extraordinarily high, reflecting his elite status and game-changing potential. As the story unfolds, one thing is clear: Christian McCaffrey's next move could redefine not just his career, but the landscape of the NFL this season. Fans and analysts alike will be watching every development closely, hoping for clarity in what is already shaping up to be one of the most talked about situations in recent football history. Until the 49ers speak officially, speculation will continue to dominate headlines, fueling debates and keeping the buzz alive across the league. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.